Welcome back, great to have you with me. Always a comfort to know people think as I do and watch my back. So thanks. Before I launch into today's monologue, let me tell you how to support the channel if you're not already doing so. Go to patreon.com, find me, sign up. It costs about the price of a cup of coffee once a month. And in return, you become part of the family. You get exclusive access to question and answer sessions, and you get early access to everything. There's even the odd competition, and in fact there's a competition on at the moment, so if you follow the instructions and join up, you can pitch in before the closing date. Anyway, there's all sorts of stuff on the site to get your teeth into. The links are in the notes below the video and all over my website, which is neiloliver.com. I'd love to see you there. Okay, let's get into my thought of the week. Nature's taking its course. This is a relief, let me assure you, but as we know from the wildlife documentaries, lions tearing zebras apart and so on, it can be a hard watch at times. But regardless of any actions any of us might take to affect change in this rotten system, nature is relentlessly taking its course, as it must. By this, I mean specifically a separation all but complete, and a mutation that's clear to see. Sometimes I look on at the emerging mutation and think of it as the accumulated poison, the pus contained within an agonising abscess. When nature takes its course, the bubble of pus finally bursts. It's revolting to see, but the relief is total. To mix metaphors now, the process we're going through is also like a picture coming into focus. For the longest time, it was all a blur. It was like watching indistinct figures moving around in a dense fog. So many figures, impossible at first to make any sense of what we were looking at. By now, though, the fog is clearing. The picture is sharp enough already that we can see that what was once a hopelessly muddled fug is now made of identifiable shapes. To mix metaphors again, we started out with a 1 million piece jigsaw and no picture on the box it came in, so that we didn't even know what it was we were trying to see. Now we see so many pieces that at first sight seemed to have no relation to one another. Where to begin? The COVID scam, the injectables that were the whole point of the COVID scam, war in Ukraine, climate crisis, the Ponzi scheme of money creation and supply, borders open for an incessant flood of new people, changing the face of Britain forever, the Diddy tapes. Whatever happened to the Diddy tapes? Not to mention whatever happened to Charlie Kirk. And of course, also, we were invited to look on at genocide normalised. And then the brightly coloured pieces that had everyone looking at them more than at any others. Surely those had nothing to do with anything. Epstein, just as a for instance. The inexplicable Macrons in France. Little Zelensky in Ukraine. Boys can be girls, they said, and girls can be boys. Seeming madness everywhere. But nature takes its course and the focus tightens and the fog clears and the pieces begin to fit together. And lo and behold, we see. When I talked at the top about the mutation and the separation and the filling of the abscess to its inevitable bursting, when I talked about that, I meant it to illustrate the way two groups are finally distinct now. Here in Britain, a final piece for me was the news the present government under Keir Starmer is finally completing a project that transcends political parties, that was set in train long ago to snuff out any notion of democracy by denying the people the right to trial by jury. Trial by jury, and only trial by jury, makes real in everyday life the truth that the people govern themselves. No impotent vote in a pantomime election manifests democracy. Voting is a lever connected to nothing at all. Pull the lever as hard as you like and watch nothing happen. Any administration that writes and passes its own legislation and awards itself and only itself the right to judge the accused on the basis of that legislation, to declare guilt or innocence, and then to pass and impose sentence is a textbook dictatorship. I've said it before and I'll keep saying it. It's by these means that an administration can and will write itself into a place above the people, above any so-called constitution. It will write itself into a position above all and from which it cannot be removed except by bloody violence. That a jury decides the guilt or innocence of the accused is one thing. More potent by far is the jury's right and obligation to judge the justice of the legislation that was used to bring the accused to court, and when necessary to set that legislation aside as not fit for purpose, effectively to put it in the bin where it belongs. No majority verdicts either. A true trial by jury sees a decision made not by the many but by the one, if needs be. 11 guilty verdicts and one not guilty verdict, and the decision of the jury is not guilty. This denial of trial by jury for anything but accusations of murder and rape is about one thing and one thing only: the creation of a dictatorship in Britain, where the government accuses without challenge, judges without challenge, and punishes without challenge. It's no error either that murder and rape are left apparently requiring trial by jury, because what that tells us is that those crimes, death and rape, they don't bother the establishment. We can do that to each other if we want. They're interested in something else. In Britain, the process of seeping tyranny has been going on for centuries. Impossible to know when it started, but the Glorious Revolution, so-called, of 1688 and the Bill of Rights were massive milestones. In came William and Mary as King and Queen, and on their coattails the real problem. Those that declared Parliament, that den of thieves, sovereign, a huge, shameless and egregious lie. The Glorious Revolution was an invasion and a takeover that led in time to party politics and finally the emergence of the infamous arse with at least two cheeks. And so here we are, impotent, castrated. Know this and feel so much else in the bigger picture come into focus, emerge from the fog. Epstein used women and girls to compromise powerful people. That is certain, but the sickening abuse is the tip of the iceberg. What he was really about was making, laundering and moving money, dirty money for filthy people. Wars here, there and everywhere, regime change, corruption. It's all about money and power. The Epstein files will never see the light of day, not in any full and unredacted way, because all of the powerful are in the same boat. But already we see enough. The files stay hidden to protect the powerful, who are all mired in the same filth. You know what they say? Never get into a mud wrestle with a pig. Everyone gets filthy, but the pig enjoys it. What happened in recent years was that the latest generation of the powerful realised the people were onto them at last. A long, slow, patient process of shortening the leash inch by inch, year by year. The way of the Fabian Society, the Club of Rome, the Council on Foreign Relations. Different names, same ideology of one world government. Went into hasty overdrive. Too hasty, as it turned out. Sensing threat, the powerful put their foot on the accelerator pedal and went for it, in hopes of getting over the line into total control before they were rumbled. The fake pandemic, the draconian measures, lethally dangerous injectables, the fear porn that tightened the leash right up to the neck. Always more legislation for our own good. The Patriot Act in the US, for example. The creeping censorship of online safety bills here. And now digital IDs made mandatory. Always the fear porn about the end of the world one way or another. Proxy wars, the surveillance state, the digital cage made of CBDCs for the unwitting and made of debanking for the rest. And above all else, the silencing, the censorship, the taking control of the internet, of social media. The people of the world, in ever increasing numbers, have awoken from the anaesthetic, have focused their attention, have pieced together enough of the puzzle without the picture. So the only option left open to the powerful is to shut us up, render us too scared to speak, too scared to move. In Britain, the ending of trial by jury means the state has closed the loop. Now, they will write laws to ban criticism, to ban questions, to ban protest. That's only the start. And soon it will be laws to ban meat, to ban cars, to ban heating that works, to ban cash. Without even the tattered remnant of trial by jury, and less than 1% of cases come before a jury now anyway, having formally removed any vestige of an obstacle to their dictatorship, they will seek to round up and jail their opponents, great and small, and by so doing frighten the rest into compliant silence and obedience. I've said it before and I'll repeat. Those sometime powerful are frightened in the extreme, more frightened than they have ever been. Know that, never forget that. What we are seeing, as I said at the top, is nature taking its course. By accident or by design, the mutation is all but complete, and the separation, us and them, is plain to see. In the Bible, there's a line about, "Come out from among them, and be ye separate. Touch not the unclean thing." Well, it turns out the unclean thing has done the coming out from among us. We can see them clearly, and if they were ever like us, they're not like us now. People persist in looking for happy endings. Noticing and knowing all this is not an ending, but a beginning. We are told the truth will set us free, and guess what? That's true as well. But no one said freedom was a quick solution or an easy path. Now that we can see clearly enough, we can indeed be free. But the freedom in focus is not for the faint-hearted. Nothing worth having ever is.